I want to start by looking at defending in the offensive third. Okay, so the area where we would be scoring goals. Honestly, this area, we're the blue team, we're attacking this way. This area where our forwards and our attackers spend most of the time, this is honestly the area where you should be doing the most defending. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but you'll see what I mean. Okay, what happens when most teams defend is the ball gets played in, okay, maybe it's played to here. Instead of putting high pressure, what they'll do is maybe we'll move up a bit, okay, but we'll keep our shape. We'll let them keep the ball in these areas. What I want you to get in the habit of is pressuring these defenders to make mistakes. Okay, it's called pressing. So the only way this works is if everyone presses together. Now, what we're talking about here specifically is the forwards. Okay, it starts with the forwards. Now, when you're defending in the offensive third, okay, our defensive third, middle third, offensive third. When you're defending in the offensive third, you can be very reckless. Okay, you can run in fast. You can try to nick the ball, and you don't really have to be too cautious, because if you do get beat, we still have hopefully 10 men behind the ball. In this case, we have 4 men behind the ball. Okay, but if you happen to win it, we're already in a scoring position. Okay, so what do most players do? They give them too much time to play. Instead of that, I want you to pressure them right away. Force him to kick the ball up. Even if he does, okay, our team's going to win possession. We can start knocking it around the back. Keep possession of the ball. As soon as their team has the ball, I want pressure, okay? Force them to make mistakes. Maybe you'll win it. Maybe they'll make an error. Okay, maybe they'll kick the ball out of bounds. Good things are going to happen. I promise that. If you pressure in the offensive third, you will force errors. Good things are going to happen. This only works if you're approaching with intensity. Okay, if I'm jogging towards him, he's going to have time. He's going to be composed, and he's going to be able to make a pass. Okay, if I'm sprinting at him, really forcing him to make a decision, luckily I'll screw him up. Okay, I'll force him to make an error. He'll have bad technique, and we'll win the ball, and we can attack right away. So, the first man, the closest man to the ball, is the one that presses the ball. What does everyone else do in this situation? Okay, what I want everyone else to do, and I want you to do, when you're not the first player to the ball, putting good pressure, what I want you to do is I want you to think about cutting off the passing angles, or reading this player on the ball. Where does he want to pass the ball? Okay, in most situations, maybe, as you can see right here, I'm setting up, he has different passing options. Okay, so he can play into here, he can play into here, he can play over the top, he can play this long ball here. Okay, so this player, like I said, high pressure coming in right away. At the same time, everyone else is closing down the next possible pass. Okay, so I want this guy to get really tight here. I want this guy to potentially cut this off. He might even want to stay in here, because if the ball goes here, that's fine, right? This player is more dangerous than this player on the ball. So we can sacrifice this, but as you see, I'm still close enough that if it comes in here, we can double. If it goes out here, I can press right away, and then everyone else is pressing the next possible pass, okay? If it comes in here, this guy can potentially nick the ball. We have possession. If it goes over the top, okay, he's at least going to hold him up. Then our winger can come back and double up, triple up even. Okay, if it goes over the top here, again, we're fine. We react. Everyone tracks back to help out. Okay, so think about those two things. Close span to the ball, pressing with high intensity, yes. Next players are trying to read the pass. Read this player on the ball. Okay, don't just watch them. Think, what are they going to do with the ball next? If you can learn to anticipate rather than react, that alone is going to make you a much better defender. I just want to add one more point about this pressing idea, especially in the offensive third, but this applies to all areas of the field. I want you to think about when you're pressing. Let's say the ball goes back here. When we're pressing, first man in, instead of running straight at the player with the ball, can you take away at least one passing option while you're pressing the ball? Okay, I hope you can see that right there. So let's imagine you're coming to get the ball. You think the player is going to play into here, but you're the closest man, so you have to close him down and force him to play. Okay, instead of running straight at him, this pass is still on. I want you to curve your run So you're running like this, okay? We're either forcing them to go around the back, and like we said, that's fine because everyone is pressing together. Yes, we're all going to get to a next possible pass. Okay, but if he does get past you here, that's fine. He's going to the wing. Again, we have numbers behind the ball. Okay, so when you're pressing the ball, don't just run in like a maniac. Okay? Curve your run. So if I'm coming from here, I'm going to try to cut off this passing angle. If I'm coming from here, I'm going to try to cut off this passing angle. Okay, so think about that the next time you're running at a defender. Can I approach him in such a way that I'm cutting off one of his options and making his life very difficult? I'm either forcing him to take me one-on-one or kick the ball up the line. Okay, if you can start applying that, you're going to force this player, the defender, on the ball to make many more errors. So what happens if we lose possession of the ball or we're trying to press and we get too committed? Okay, what happens if this player loses the ball and the ball is played into here? First things first, these players need to be held accountable. They need to help their teammates out, not let their teammates down, and track back. Okay? Yes, you can have one player that stays high for an outlet, but if you're defending a lead, you really want to win the game, it might be a good idea to get everyone back in front of the ball if possible. Okay, but realistically, these players are not going to get caught right away because they're already in an advanced position, but these players are tracking back. As soon as they lose the ball, track back. So again, this comes down to your mentality, comes down to your work ethic, and your fitness. Yes, you lost possession of the ball. Instead of complaining and crying about it, you need to be the hardest working player to win that ball back, okay? Don't waste any time yelling at yourself or kicking the ground, wasting time, okay? As soon as you lose the ball, make up for it. Work the hardest you possibly can to either get back in front of the ball or win possession and get the ball moving again. So these players are tracking back, like we said. You gotta want to get back. I know it sucks. Everyone wants to attack. Nobody really wants to defend. But if you can change that mindset, you're willing to work both ways for your team. Okay, you're not just a one-dimensional player. That's when you're going to stand out, and that's where you're going to make a difference on the field, and you'll be able to control the outcome much more. So when these players get the ball here and we're in a defensive position, we're getting attacked, so we're backtracking a bit. What do these defenders do here? How can they defend to be effective? So what we need to do here is one needs to press the ball to a certain degree, the other needs to cover the potential pass, or if this player gets beat, this player needs to be able to come across and cover like this, and then this player will tuck in to cover him, switching positions. Okay, so when we talked about defending in the offensive third, I said that you could rush and be really reckless. It didn't matter if he beat you because you still have 10 men behind the ball. But in this position, this is very different because if he gets beat, if he runs in and gets beat, they potentially have a shot on goal unless this player is coming across really fast to cover and we're switching like I just talked about. Excuse me. So when this player has the ball, you need to press, but we need to be cautious. So I want you to close the space right away, but these last 3-4 yards, you need to be light on your toes, really slow down, so if he takes a touch to the side, you can move laterally and stay in front of him. Okay, if I come in 100 miles per hour, all it takes is one little touch into space and he's free. Okay, come in quick, then slow down. Now you jockey. Try to watch the ball. If he makes a move here, you're quick on your toes. You're moving side to side quickly. Okay, staying in front of the player. If he moves inside, you can move with him too. So the idea of this player is to cover. This one's to press, this one's to cover. We need to work in at least pairs, otherwise it's going to be very difficult for you to defend. Okay, if this ball gets played across here, what happens? This player now presses, this player now covers. Okay, comes across, this player presses, this player covers. And like I said, if he gets beat, come across, switch like that. Okay, if you can have 2 defenders working like that, if you can have 4 defenders working like that, if you can have the whole team on the same page, knowing how to cover, knowing how to press, then you're going to be an extremely effective defensive team. It's going to be very hard for anyone to score goals against you.